All right, so just again recording the conversation. I am here again, Chris Steele with Richard Learmont. Richard, it's always
Yeah.
good to see you.
Hey, Chris.
I love the light you've got coming from the back of you. So
Thank you.
it's for
Oh
me, it's a
yeah.
metaphor on your enlightenment, right?
Oh yeah. Well, you've got the light coming out of your head, man.
Well, there you go.
It's
It's the
beautiful.
phoenix, right? So
Absolutely.
so continuing on with kind of the theme of the conversation, I loved how all of our discussions are going from place to place. Um, we were talking recently about kind of the condition of society right now and where we are and how, you know, these days what we're experiencing is the rise of the individual and the fall of the institution, and how we've all got an inner authority and we get to listen to our own voice and trust it, right?
Hmm.
So, as I resonate with that, here I am, a guy in the world listening to my voice and aware that there's a lot of other voices out there as well. And one of the things that I find is in today's age, one of the things I teach my clients around developing business is you want to make sure that you're marketing effectively, which means create a good message. Make sure you're kind of modeling and seeing what other people are doing, potentially benchmarking, right? And make sure that your message is different in the marketplace, right? Benchmarking. So in that context, as you benchmark and model, one of the things I've seen, Richard, is that as we listen to our voice and we trust it, our voices in the marketplace are I don't know what's the word. It's almost like there's a lot of static out there. There's a lot of white noise because there's so many messages now.
A lot of distortion. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think? I mean, how can you make your message more significant so that it stands out? Because I'm sure it is an important message as we listen to our voice and trust it. How do you make it stand out so it's significant?
It's a great question. I love your great questions, man. um, how do you make it stand out? So we're talking about marketing, right? How do you market your work to stand out?
Yeah,
Or
maybe
we're
it's
talking
about
about
I like it. Matter of fact, let's go down that rabbit hole. Marketing. In the context, it's authentic marketing because I think about marketing. We're all what is it? We're all exposed to like 20,000 messages on per day. That's the latest statistic I heard. 20,000 messages per day, marketing messages. From
Mhm.
the moment you wake up in the morning, if your radio goes off, you listen to an ad. You get up, you turn on the TV, there's ads. You look at the newspaper, there's ads. You drive down the road, there's billboards, right? So there's so much static and white noise. So contextually, I could probably talk all day long around differentiation and messages and deploying it through the right channels and everything. But in the context of kind of the essence and the message that we as individuals have, how do we differentiate ourselves from, as marketers in the marketplace with that authenticity, conveying a message that's real and it's authentic, and it also gets traction? What's coming to mind?
Hmm. You know, I for one, I am not in particular, a marketer in that sense. So to be honest with you, I would not be the best person to really answer that question in terms of like, how to go out there and market yourself. I mean, I market myself in the best way I can by being authentic, by being truthful, by finding the various, I mean, I look at different marketing gurus type of people out there, Brendan Burchard, the Tony Robbins, and these various people who are so good at it, and learn from them how to market. But what I was referring to, in terms of that inner voice, learning how to trust that thing, it's more in a personal sense, and how I show up, how we ought to show up in as ourselves in presenting whatever it is we're presenting. We all have something very unique to shine out into the world, some sort of a gift, some sort of a talent, or something that we're here to bring to the collective, and as ourselves. That's the place where I'm really coming from in terms of how to market that.
Yeah,
It's a
that's kind of my wheelhouse, because you're right. That's what I do is I train business owners how to market and how to differentiate and how to use the right channels. So you're right. There's ways to do that, and we could talk about that.
Well,
By
yeah,
the way,
but
just to give you a reflection, Richard, as I look at how you've marketed yourself, yeah, I mean, right now we're on YouTube as a platform, and when I go to YouTube and I look around and I see Marianne Williamson, everybody knows who she is, right? And there you are. on Marianne Williamson's stage. So in
Hmm.
essence, you put yourself into a platform with a person that's got, ubiquity, that's got a reputation. And again, I don't even know if it was a deliberate initiative on your part, but you're a good example of putting yourself in the right place in front of the right people with the right message. How do you how does that resonate with you?
That was pure luck, quite
Okay.
honestly. I was just following what's correct within me, following that voice, just going back to that. I am in no way any master at marketing at all. I know how to sell what I do because I do what I love, and it comes from a place of ease for me because I'm doing, it seems like it's not work per se. I'm here doing my purpose. I'm living my purpose, sharing this gift that I'm here to share, and it feels so good to me. So it's easy for me to do it. It feels right, and it feels so good. In terms of like how did I get out there, I happen to have worked with her for a couple of years, and did have quite a few recordings with her, and I threw it out there, and it was one of those lucky things where it shows up with her, and boom, you know,
So
being in the
maybe
right
that's the
place at the right
secret.
time.
Right place, right time, synchronicity, synergy, coincidence, if you want to call it that. But I just think if you're in the zone, right, and you're actually not trying too hard to do something that you shouldn't be doing, then you kind of end up, in the right place at the right time. And the key from my perspective is to act on that. We all know about the law of
Hmm.
attraction, and you obviously have attracted some wonderful stuff. I know I have as well, as I allow and I attract. But one of the things that the classic law of attraction doesn't talk about, at least in the movie The Secret doesn't talk about, is the fact that you also have to act. And if you
Hmm.
don't act in the context of that feel good now, in that essence, then nothing happens. So I think as we listen to our voice and we trust it, and we grow and expand and put ourselves in the right places, I think that's, I mean, really the moral of the story in this vignette is again, trust. And, these days it's kind of, I find, again, back to all the messages as we compare ourselves in the marketplace, I find some people find it difficult to trust themselves in their message. So what
Hmm.
counsel, what guidance can you give to people around allowing that trust to happen and being in the zone?
Other than coming and learning that process with us, studying how, it's what we do. We teach people and guide them how to really trust their own authority, how to listen to their own inner voice and follow that thing. You'll know in the right timing of when to take action, when not to take action. It's a retraining. It's a new re-education basically on how to really live as yourself, and follow your true calling, your true guidance. Um, and it goes through many things. With your relationships, with your personal relationships and your business relationships, in every aspect of life. Um, you know, that's one way. It's really the best way, I would say. Other than that, any tips that I can give to someone, I mean, it's as you said, it's so confusing out there with so much information, and our mind is taking in so much information all at the same time. It's difficult to know, what our mind is telling us to do and what our true nature, which is built into this body here, what how what's the difference between those two, our mind and our real truth that's built into us. It can be very confusing, so it requires a little relearning, really in order to really get this. So um, yeah, I would
Good stuff.
suggest that.
So what I like to do is kind of put a bookmark in this conversation and maybe pick it up again next time and talk about, what that looks like when it comes to relearning and retooling and confronting what we have to learn from and going from there. Does that make sense?
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Till next time.
Till next time.